Hacks. It's been now 28 years of ADCC, which is a lot of history and seems to have gone by quite quickly. But I was going through some old ADCC videos earlier today. I was looking for some clips, and I was looking at footage from 98, 99, 2000, 2001, and it just looks like an entirely different era. It's not even like it resembles anything like the grappling scene that we know now. I mean, if I could use a sort of an analogy from another sport, it's like watching boxing from the 1940s of just two guys stood in the middle of the ring slugging it out, compared to watching like Floyd Mayweather. You know, the sort of the spectacle and the showmanship and the production. And I just think back to those sort of like the plain white canvas and the ropes and just the light. You just don't see anything except two guys in the middle of the mat. And then the sort of the glitz and glamour of the modern era. That's what it looks like comparing this early ADCC, which is held in like a semi-private gymnasium, the actual Abu Dhabi Combat Club, ADCC. Yeah, the club still exists. It's a private members club, and I think that they have they still have the sports hall. I don't think it's used for anything with jiu-jitsu or grappling nowadays, but the sports hall still exists. But there's like an actual, it's almost like a country club where they have maybe some horse riding, some other activities. Yeah. But the gymnasium is really small. There are very few people inside it, and there's just empty mats with no logos and just a couple of guys grappling, and the grappling doesn't look that special either. But there's a certain charm and appeal to watching the old grappling stuff, because like you've got one guy in wrestling boots and another guy in a baggy t-shirt, and I sent you a clip earlier of the Japanese guy in toe socks.
Yes, yeah. Well, they still, I think, technically don't have a huge amount of rules about uniform, right? I think somebody was
you
saying
could wear a gi if you wanted.
Yeah, there you go. You could turn up in a gi, just no one does. Yeah, I remember a Japanese guy. He went in a head-to-toe, like, silver suit in Nottingham. It was like a...
yes, that's right. 2011, that was the last time we saw any kind of crazy outfit at an ADCC World Championship. I don't remember the guy's name, but it was like a bodysuit just up to his neck, basically, right?
I felt like it went over his head. He literally just had like a little... This part was open.
I think he might have taken the hood off for the match, but
maybe I'm imagining it, yeah.
And I remember... Was there a guy another Japanese guy in like a flesh-colored one as well, or am I imagining that?
That was just his flesh.
Oh, you mean like so? Yeah. No. But there was the old ADCCs is wild because, like I said, you've got a guy in a singlet, you've got a guy in wrestling boots. There were a few people that competed in gis like way back in the very early ones. And then actually a few years later, there was an interesting match where Saulo Ribeiro actually decided to wear a gi jacket to fight against Jeff Monson because he wanted the friction of trying to hold Jeff Monson in the guard. I thought that was quite curious. But it's literally like watching another era, and for many of us, that's living memory. So it's the evolution has been pretty astounding.
I mean, if you got them via nefarious means, and don't answer, but where are they all housed?
They're all on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Because it was, I guess it was independent for a bit, and then Budo Videos did it for a bit, and then Flo bought some rights. I know Fight Pass randomly has like really old ADCCs, or it did the last time I checked.
Yeah, and actually I think the reason is because the rights holder was a guy called Jeff Osborne, who was old school MMA, maybe fighter, analyst, commentator, coach. Certainly involved for a long time. He's a promoter as well. He had Hook and Shoot in the US many years ago, and I think he even ran ADCC trials in the US way back in like the early 2000s. And he had the video rights for ADCC, I think like 99, 2000, 2001, 2003, like way back in the early days. And that's why they ended up finding their way for a time. You could actually watch ADCC like from 99, 2000. You could find it on Amazon Prime, which was really wild.
Wow.
It did make its way into Fight Pass. But I think that they have, because it seems to be affiliated with them, but there seems to be a YouTube channel where there's lots of like short clips that show classic matches of like Rico Rodriguez flying arm barring some random Russian guy, and then some Japanese shoot fighter in you know, wrestling boots going up against a jiu-jitsu black belt. It's some,
Yeah,
there's some
I
fun stuff
remember
for sure.
the Japanese used to send a pretty decent contingent over, didn't they? It was like Kawuno and Kikuta. Kikuta won it, didn't he?
He did. He was the and
Gomi,
technically not a jiu-jitsu guy, right?
probably a judo background, but a
But he
grappler.
was,
Yeah.
I think, a judo stroke shoot fighting, shoot wrestling, submission wrestling, kind of Japanese MMA, but not actually a Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Like there was nothing to do with
No,
jiu-jitsu
no.
at the time. So
Yeah, a lot of those guys were not Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah.
you're right. There were a lot of MMA fighters, a
Yeah.
lot of MMA fighters back in those days as well. And
All right. I
I
think. I
was
think.
reminded of that looking at these clips because there's Tito Ortiz, Matt Hughes, you know, George
There
St.
was.
Pierre.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I thought, on the topic of the Japanese guys, they like Kao Uno was part of a gym called Wajutsu, I think, and Wa literally means Japanese, so it's
Yeah.
Japanese technique. Like they've been grappling for a long ass time. They didn't need to call it Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because you know
Well, where
they
did it
had it
come from,
already.
right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I remember Genki Sudo competed as
Oh
well
yeah, what a
in
guy.
early ADCCs. He had a match against Vito Belfort, and that's the first time I ever saw a wrestling switch in action, which is really curious because Vito Belfort was the absolute. Vito Belfort's huge. You know, Genki,
Yeah.
I think, was in the under 77, and Vita picked up a single leg and had his head on the outside, and Genki was just so smooth and so fast back
I
then,
mean, he
right?
was
And
an
he just
actual wrestler. Yeah, from
he
high
was.
school.
He wrestled,
Yeah.
yeah, but he stuck that switch in and took the back of Vita Belfort. I was like, wow, that Genki did a lot of mind blowing stuff back in the day, and
Yeah.
that was just one of many incidences where I was just in love with his technique. And
Yeah.
I don't know about you, because you have such a strong connection, of course, to Japan and the Japanese scene, but Genki Sudo was something else, right?
Yeah, yeah, you must watch that video hundreds of times. What was it, West Side Jiu-Jitsu or something, where Genki
Yeah.
Sudo just turned up and styled on everyone, one after the other. Like, I really like nowadays it's so easy to travel. We know everything about the location before we ever get there. Everything is, Google Map is telling you how many nanoseconds until the next train and how many people are sat on the train and everything. Like, you can go back 25, 30 years to go to another country and just style on people in a tournament. That to me is one of the most impressive things you can do.